Hello, ESG Universe. Thank you so much for asking me to be part of your interview series. I sit on the ESG Commission for the taxonomy of the European Union called the PSF Commission. So ESG is a big thing that I do. Environmental social governance is the biggest changes happening to our world today, and environmentalism and social governance get ahead of the game, and we start thinking about the future and what is happening and going on. I always say we're not in the business of business, we're in the business of life. The biggest organization in the world currently today moving the lever faster towards better environmental and sustainable practices in our world, the European Union, where they have over hundreds of different regulations, adoptions, systems coming online that are moving the world forward for better environmental, social, and governance practices, as well as sustainability practices to get us in the right line for human rights due diligence directives, to get us better on eco-design directives, and also on corporate social responsibility directives. All the things that are going on in our world moving towards better practices are happening here. What does that have to do with us there? That's a good question because it's asked all around the world. There's even this kind of a movement out there, ESG woke, meaning we don't believe in ESGs. There's also an SDG woke movement where people are saying we don't believe in the Sustainable Development Goals. The thing is, all that conspiracy, all those controversies aside, let me break it down what it means for you. All products coming into the European Union and all products going out of the European Union, out of the 28 countries in the European Union, need to fall under the European ESG taxonomy, under CSRD, as well as the Digital Product Passport, as well as the Human Rights Due Diligence Act, as well as the new German high standard for supply chain act and smart contracts that we see going on. So there's so many things going on here. What that means is if you want to do business with Europe, you want to send your products to Europe, they need to be compliant with the ESG taxonomy. They need to be compliant with CSRD. They need to be compliant with the Digital Product Passport. So you're probably saying, wow, that's a lot of acronyms. I haven't even heard of half of them. What does that mean for me? Well, it means that you're thinking of scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions in your product, in your organization. What's the upstream? What's the downstream of where you produce? The full life cycle assessment of that product. And like I mentioned, I just teased, the Digital Product Passport was just barely released and went into effect as a regulation less than a week ago. It's in law. And you know what? Just in Europe alone, it covers 5 trillion products. That's just 5 products. Just in the EU alone, it covers 5 trillion products, and it hasn't rolled out to every product that's in the EU so far. That is huge. That's a huge amount of products, but it's also a huge amount of drawdown. It's a huge amount of life cycle assessment. So by doing this whole Digital Product Passport, by doing the taxonomy, it's making reporting for sustainability and environment easier, but it's also making our products more sustainable. One other big factor is it's making all our products more sustainable, more environmentally friendly. We know that people are being paid a fair wage, that there's no human rights violations in product manufacturing. The other thing is we know were there any certain chemicals, pesticides, fossil fuels used in the production of these? Were there big shipping and supply chain in the process of certain products? And so what that does is it nudges us towards a better business model so that we're accountable for the impacts that we have on our products, on our business model, and it is actually a more profitable business model to do things that are more environmentally friendly, that are more sustainable. It protects your supply chain, it protects others around the world, and it makes your business more ethical and conscious on environment. So I know I've thrown a lot of terms at you. I just want you to know that we're not in the business of business, we're in the business of life, and to do things more sustainable and more environmentally friendly. So I'm glad, to see in Pacific Asia and Thailand that we have this ESG universe to raise the awareness. What does environmental social governance mean? Well, really that comes from the European Union. That whole term ESG and also the whole taxonomy comes from there, but it's not just located in Europe. It's around the world. It's a big thing and it will affect all parts of the world. So there is one new thing that came out. It's called the Digital Product Passport. What that means that all products coming into the European Union or leaving the European Union have to have a digital product passport. That's all products. So there was a study done recently by Deloitte. Just in the European alone, 5 different product categories are about 5 trillion product SKUs and different types of products. That's 5 trillion, and we're only talking about 5 products just in the EU alone. It has an unbelievable impact for human rights due diligence, for fair wages, for scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions, for life cycle assessment, for reporting and traceability, transparency and traceability. So it also goes into and affects the supply chain. The reason that's important, that those organizations and companies that aren't in compliance with that, they will have to close their doors. They will no longer be able to deliver products to Europe. They will also no longer be able to receive products from Europe that don't have that digital product passport. It also affects a lot of organizations and countries that do counterfeiting. So if there's fake products or counterfeiting, they won't be allowed into Europe anymore. There's so many things that affect that, but it's also those companies that send products that are of high value or luxury goods to Europe and they don't have that digital product passport. So the European Union has an enforcement commission, enforcement division that goes out and enforces these laws. Just in 2022, the enforcers of the European Commission went into Deutsche Bank, which is a big bank in Germany, and asked for the records of their customers regarding the ESG taxonomy and how they are being compliant towards that regulation. Those records were seized, and then the very next day, Commerzbank, Deutsche Bank, Bernsberger Bank, and many other banks in Germany and in Europe went to their clients and their customers and said, we can no longer be your bank because you're not compliant with the ESG taxonomy for the European Union. All of those customers that were told that they can no longer be a customer of that bank had the choice to fix their compliance for the ESG taxonomy and prepare for the CSRD that was coming, or to go find another bank. Less than 1%, matter of fact, only 17 of those clients chose to fix their compliance and get on board and stay with their bank. The rest all chose to leave and try to go find another bank. Today, all of those who chose to leave and not fix their regulation have all come back and said, we are going to fix the problem. We're going to be compliant. We're going to follow the ESG taxonomy because the regulation and the enforcement has gotten so strong. It's reached a level of expansion and it's a big thing. Specifically now, we're talking this new thing with the digital product passport has come out, going to affect the entire world. Products leaving the EU and products coming into the EU have to have that. But what it does is cause a ripple effect. You cannot produce certain parts of a product and then sell them in Europe that do not have a full life cycle assessment and scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, traceability of that product in the European Union without that digital product passport. So we know the emissions, where the scope 1, 2, 3 is, how it was produced, and how that's brought into Europe and how that leaves Europe on products, where it touches, where the resources are, where the emissions creation of that product is. So there's a bunch of things that does. It does is it gets rid of the bad actors. They can no longer do business, say that they're a European product without that. Secondly, it gets rid of human rights violations. Thirdly, it improves your business model on being more environmentally friendly. You're actually building a better business and it's more profitable. It's a lot better for your organization to change that model. And like always, I'm glad to talk to you about ESG and many of the intricate things of that. There's over 100 different regulations and policies under, not just the taxonomy, the CSRD, but also the digital product passport, the eco design for different products. So it's good to stay ahead of the game. But if we change our organizational business models to be more sustainable, more environmentally social governance and friendly towards the environment and the way we produce things, it's actually better for us all the way around. It's a better business model and much more successful. So I'm seeing great people talking about great things at ESG Universe. And thanks for listening to me for a while. And I hope to see you at several events in Thailand this year. I'll be at Texas and I'll be there with one of my good friends from Naragaro. He will be talking about the digital product passport. His name is Thomas Ruding. He owns one of the largest digital product passport creator organizations in the European Union, and he'll have a booth at Texas, and he'll also be talking about that. So I would suggest you go interview him, but also that you stop by Texas booth and see him there. I will be there. I'll be speaking about the future fitness of business, and I have a great friend. His name's Conrad Gula, Advanced Innovation, and he's going to be talking about all of the features of environmental social governance and sustainability within artificial intelligence, how we can harness artificial intelligence, quantum computers, and the super technology cycle cusp that we're in our world to make and do better things for the world and humanity. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and seeing more articles from ESG Universe, and please take care, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.